Hello traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix, and you're listening to the week ahead video for May 30th, 2021. I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and for those of you celebrating a holiday, which those of us in the United States, and if you're in the UK, you might be celebrating a bank holiday, 3-day weekend. Hope you guys are having a great one. And for those of you that aren't, just realize it is a 3-day holiday for a lot of the major markets. So it's going to be, the liquidity is going to be kind of poor. So even when the markets do open on Sunday, you got to keep that in mind that Monday might be a little slow depending on where you're at and what you're doing. But I do want to say that next week is going to be a good week. I say a good week. It's going to be a good week for volatility. Why? Because next week is non-farm payroll. So it could be an exciting week for the markets. So stick around. I'm going to show you all the charts that I'm looking at, some of the things that I'm queuing in on this week. And if you like these videos, make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and share this video if you see it on like LinkedIn or Twitter. Hit a retweet, that would be great. And yeah, please hit a thumbs up. I appreciate it. It's a holiday weekend. And myself and the team, we're filming this, getting this ready for you. So I hope you do really appreciate it and enjoy the analysis we bring for you free every single week. So let's go ahead and get to the charts. And, I actually want to take you over to, not to ForexAnalytix just yet. I want to take you to tradersummit.net. If you haven't gone to this website, it's a great resource for you. See where, if you scroll down a little bit, you got these headline charts, everything. You got this breaking views. These are the newest articles that are out. Chris Weston from Pepperstone Securities, which happens to be our sponsor of our daily webinars, he did a really nice non-farm payroll piece located right here. And you can click on any of the links, obviously. Go ahead and give it a read. I think it's great. His wife just gave birth to their third child, and he's out writing non-farm payroll articles. You got to give him kudos for that. You should just go read it just because of that. But we have obviously a lot of great interviews here as well. I did an interview this last week, late in the week on Friday, with Ryan Littlestone from Forex Flow Live. Make sure you read this or watch this video, excuse me, because it's on the dollar going into June. Obviously June's going to be a pretty big month for the dollar because of the FOMC and the ECB and whatnot. So he shows you what he's looking at or talks about what he's looking at going into this month. Also, if you haven't tried out ForexAnalytix, make sure you do so. It's only $1 for 10 days. And download the mobile app. Even though we're rewriting the mobile app, we're keeping all the same features. We're just going to be adding some new features, and we're building that for you guys. It's not going to cost you anymore. It's just an upgrade, but we've been busy at work doing that as well. So make sure you download the mobile app from your App Store, Google Play Store, iTunes, wherever that you get your apps. Anyway, we will talk a little bit about where the dollar's at going into this next week, because I think the dollar, if you follow along, well, actually I'm going to take you to live charts, but if you're looking at like what's happening in the markets, the dollar, you've got Bitcoin that's actually, triangle resistance. It's actually, you know what? I should actually take you over to the live charts right now. You take a look at Bitcoin. This is just over the weekend. We're about ready to challenge that triangle support. And I want to show you guys this chart because I know a lot of you trade cryptos. We're staying below the 200-day moving average in Bitcoin, but look at the flag pattern where it points. It points actually to 10,000. Now, I know you're thinking, woo, I don't know if we're going to make it all the way down there. And I don't disagree with you. I think for us to make it all the way down to 10,000 is going to be a little bit of a stretch, but I do think that the 20,000 breakout point from 2017, you can see that consolidation, that triangle wedge breakout right there in December of 2020. That's going to be a major level of support on any move lower. And you guys have probably heard me if you listen to me live on a daily basis. And by the way, the link to our live webinars that are free every day is down in the description of this video, the F.A.C.E webinar. So you can register and come in and listen to my views and the rest of the team throughout the course of the week. Excuse me. we've talked about the support zone coming in right around the 15,000 to 20,000 range. So this whole area, excuse me, is going to offer a lot of support on any drop. Now, going back to the dollar. So let's talk about the dollar index, and the dollar is trading heavy. There's no if and or buts about it. But we're also trading on some pretty major support levels. And this support zone, and let me go out actually to a weekly chart. Because if you look at a weekly chart and you look at these previous highs back in 2009, 2010, this all, and even this consolidation that we had around 2018, you can see we're probing some pretty key levels. This is a weekly candle. That's an outside, here, let's zoom in really quick. Oh, shoot, I didn't want to do that, but that's all right. I'll delete it and I'll go redraw it at some other point. Right here, you'll notice this is an outside week, okay? That means the top wick of this weekly candle this last week, and then the lower wick was outside or engulfing the previous week. It's also a, you know, slightly white candle, which is, it's just basically a spinning top, or you might even, some of you might even say, well, that's really more of a doji. Regardless, being an outside week, that is now a risk for a bullish move. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think that's more dependent on what happens on Friday, the weekly, or excuse me, the monthly jobs report. That's probably going to be the catalyst that pushes us outside of this, you know, either higher or obviously through into support down through these lows. But knowing that it's an outside week is now a risk for the bearish view. Also keeping in mind, let's go over to a daily chart really quick. You'll notice that on the daily chart over the last 2 weeks, excuse me, the last 2 weeks here, we've been moving lower, and you see how relative strength is now divergent. Now, if it's divergent, you'll notice on the daily chart on the dollar, it's actually now given us an opportunity to reassert itself to the downside, or, you know, that divergence might be telling us that it's about ready to reverse. Regardless, next week is going to be, in my opinion, a pretty decisive week for the dollar. So if you are a dollar bear or a dollar bull, I think you have to have your, you know, just your guard up and be ready for a move in either direction. Could be, you know, in the direction that you believe, or could be the opposite direction. I think that next week is going to be, you know, a driving force for the market. Now, the reason why I say that is when you go back to, you look at jobs, you know, one of the most important factors for the Fed starting to talk about tapering is going to be their picture in jobs and how the jobs picture is looking for the U.S. economy. Obviously, they're also focused on inflation. They're focused on price stability, but they're really looking at jobs and making sure that the job market continues to improve and the jobs picture continues to improve. And when the Fed's expecting about 600,000 to 700,000 jobs this next month, or, you know, for the previous month, this next week, excuse me, for this monthly jobs report, what will happen is if we get a really strong jobs report, the dollar might actually strengthen on that, because they know that the FOMC is meeting this next this month, and we might actually start talking about tapering. Yes. Regardless, we're on really key support here too, and so that's also something to take into consideration. And if you're thinking, oh well, you know, how about if the dollar rallies? Well, a lot of that might be actually the dollar yen and all these yen pairs. You'll see that the dollar yen, I was thinking we were going to roll over this week, but we didn't. We actually went the other direction, meaning we bounced. That could have been due to a multitude of factors. A lot of people were thinking that the end of month 100 or 110 options expiration drove price up there. Bond yields also rallied, and you know, we were probing that trend line, and then we held it and then rallied to the 78% retracement. But the fact of the matter is, this 110 level, I think, is going to be a really big factor for the dollar. And if you look at the dollar yen, you got to keep an eye on the other yen pairs, because we've seen a big rally in the euro yen. We've seen a big rally in the the Aussie yen, still kind of sideways. The Kiwi yen breakout hit the 127% extension. A lot of these yen pairs, the guppy had broken out higher too. So they're really probing some resistance here, and because they closed in breakout territory, they might continue to rally, especially if the dollar yen continues to rally as well. Now, going out to the euro, we held the 618 retracement. We were talking about this on Friday. That's why you can see it highlighted here. It was the end of month move, and you can see what we probed this upsloping trend line, this ascending trend line. We probed it, hit the 618, and bounced aggressively, as we went into month end. That probably stopped out a lot of longs. You can see this little dotted line here. It stopped out some longs, probably got some people short too. We moved right back up to 122. So I'm not really 100% confident on what I think the euro is going to do, but I look at other currencies, like let's talk about the Aussie. The Aussie really probed some key support, and you can see this support zone. If you've been listening to the weekly week ahead webinars that we've been doing here, these videos, you've probably heard me reference this level of support around the 77-cent level a lot. And the fact that the Aussie dollar is not rallying with equities is pretty astonishing. Usually you see commodity currencies like the Aussie dollar respond well when stocks, and you take a look at the S&P, we're near all-time highs here. We're just right off of all-time highs. As stocks continue to rally, the Aussie tends to follow, but it really hasn't. And so one of two things are going to happen here. You're going to see the Aussie dollar play a little catch up with equities, especially if stocks do rally to all-time highs, which we can't rule out a move to 4,300 to maybe 4,375 up here. Can't rule that out. If that happens, the Aussie dollar, I'm assuming, is going to challenge the upper end of this range that we've been in for the last couple months, around 78, 75, 79 cents. But the flip side of that is if equities stall and we do make a lower high, which could be a risk, we make a lower high, we come back towards 4,000 in the S&P, the Aussie dollar might actually start taking out some of the support. The lack of ability for the Aussie to rally with risk really would have me worried if I was long Aussie dollars. Now, I'm not long Aussie dollars. If you are part of the ForexAnalytix community or you are following us on our daily webinars, I'm long Euro Aussie, which means I am short Aussie dollars, but that's how I'm expressing my short position, as being long Euro Aussie as it broke out of this triangle. But I'll tell you what, if equities do start to move lower, I'll express a short Aussie view in other ways, probably through the Aussie yen or perhaps through the Aussie dollar if I want to put the dollar into the mix of that trade as well. But those are just some thoughts that I have going into this next week. We do have the RBA rate decision, by the way. That's going to be Tuesday morning in Australia, Monday evening. So just keep that in mind. We're not expecting the RBA to do anything. They're not going to change anything on rates, but depending on how hawkish or dovish the RBA might be, that could influence this Aussie that's really been stuck in this consolidation. We do have other data that's coming out all week. The Fed chairman is actually speaking on Friday morning. And actually, believe it or not, that's actually before the jobs report. He'll be in a panel discussion. But we have the ISM data that everybody's going to be paying attention to the ISM data ahead of the jobs data, looking at the employment components there. And then also we're going to have, ADP, the private sector jobs. We're going to be looking at weekly unemployment claims. So there are some things that are happening ahead of the jobs report. And by the way, the jobs report also has Canada as well, which just tune into the daily F.A.C.E webinars. Remember, the link is down below. I'll cover the dollar Canadian when I see you guys there on Tuesday. So you guys have a great remainder of your weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate you if you give us a thumbs up and you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the great coverage that we give you throughout the week and some of these great interviews that we do every week with Dale Pinkert and all of the great guests that he brings in. So guys and gals, enjoy your long weekend. And my name is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix. I'll talk to you guys next week.